Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We will be pulling for all three sides of this connection, so we'll be looking at your side, their side, and then the energy in between the connection, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. The middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. The last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. And I don't think I mentioned this either, but this whole reading can be reversed. So if that's the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. All right, let's start by looking at Libra's side of this connection to the person that they are dealing with. All right, Libra's side of this connection. Okay, you have love, optimism, codependency, and euphoria. So let's break this down. I feel like there is a lot of times in this connection where things feel really, really good. And that euphoria, I feel like you have a tendency to really hold on to when things are not so good. I feel a lot of highs and lows. Like, I feel like it's like there are days when things feel really good, and then there are days where things just feel real bad. And I feel like as good as things can get, they can get just as bad in this connection. And I feel like you've been kind of on this roller coaster for a while with this person, and it feels as if you're having a really hard time breaking free of this roller coaster. I feel like there is a lot of love here. There's a lot of care that you have for this person, and I feel like you have a lot of hope that things will eventually get to a stable place, but it feels as if that has been it's just been a difficult journey. Like, it's been a difficult ride in this connection for sure. And I think that can get really complicated when things do feel really good sometimes, because it's like, well, you know, if things could just feel like this all the time, then it would be so good. But I feel like that's the hardest part, is like, will they ever get stable, right? Like, will things ever be at a place where you want them to be? There's potential for sure, but I think that there's always potential. But sometimes we have to make sure that we're looking at what's best for us in the long run. I'm not saying I know what that is yet, but this person's energy toward Libra. This person's energy toward Libra, please. Friendship. That's interesting. Okay. I feel like this person has a tendency to keep things very surface level in this connection. Synchronicity, and then grief and sadness. I feel like this person really values your connection for sure. I want to see if there's anything else here. Anything else? Deja vu. Okay, and then detachment. Okay, yeah. Okay, that gives me more insight. This person does really value this connection and what you do bring to the table in this connection. And I feel like that's important for you to know, because I think that if that weren't there, you would maybe start to second guess your worth, or whether or not you're good enough. And I feel like that can be really hard when we're dealing with any connection that has those high highs and lows, low lows, because we're going to start to wonder what we're doing wrong and why we can't seem to keep the connection in a stable place. The synchronicity card is interesting. I feel like you and this person are very similar, and I think that that is both a good thing and a not so good thing. I feel like that draws you toward each other, but I feel like that also at the same time, there's a lot of mirroring there. Now also with the synchronicity card, I feel that there are just a lot of things about maybe your guys' past or about your journey toward each other that seem very serendipitous, and that can kind of start to create this belief that there's a deeper meaning behind the connection, a reason for why this connection was brought together. And I feel like there absolutely is. I feel like this person is inherently very, like with this grief and sadness card, I feel like they struggle a lot with like sadness. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're outwardly like a sad person, but I feel like this person has maybe been through a lot in their life when it comes to grief, and I feel like you really see them for that. And I feel like that's why maybe you stick around through the times when things are not so good, because I do feel like you have a lot of empathy, but I feel like because this person has been through a lot in their past, they are very detached. And that keeps this connection kind of going around and around in a circle, but never really actually getting to the point that you want it to get. So it's like this cycle of highs and lows, and then highs and lows, and then things are good again, and then they're bad, and they're good. But like there's, I feel like, again, you're kind of waiting for this place of stability or commitment or mutual reciprocation and effort. And I feel like it's something that this person really struggles with, but it doesn't mean they don't value you. I just feel like they struggle because of where, like just what they've been through and what they're afraid of going through when it comes to love. However, I think that, again, with the kind of synchronicity card, because the synchronicity has this 4-4, the number 4-4 on it, and this deja vu card has 2-2-22. And the reason I feel like I'm really drawn to that is I feel like, again, there is this energy of feeling like you guys are very similar, not necessarily in the way that you act, but maybe in the way that you're like, you maybe even have similar past wounding or just have been through similar experiences. So there's almost this like deeper level of understanding between the two of you, but that doesn't mean that it has, the connection that exists here has really manifested on like a material level, because again, this person is emotionally very detached, which again is going to create confusion for you, which is why I feel like this connection has had the impact that it has on you. So let's see, truth of this connection between Libra and this person. Truth of this connection. Between Libra and this person, please, triggered. And I knew we were going to see it. I thought we were going to see the mirroring card, but I feel like this triggered card makes just as much sense. Sparks, and then there's that detachment. The triggered card makes so much sense in the context of what I'm seeing, because again, there is this energy of you guys being very similar in a way. It's like, but like maybe probably really different at the same time, but have a lot of similarities that has this tendency to, that's what like makes things really good, is it's like there are a lot of similarities there. There's a lot of common ground. There are things that I feel like you and this person just kind of get each other, but then that's what also makes things not so good, is because you trigger each other. You trigger each other's wounding. You trigger each other's insecurities. You trigger each other on a deeper level because of the nature of the connection and the similarity between you and this person. Now, that can be a good thing, because sometimes when we're dealing with people that kind of reflect back at us, it's the universe's way of trying to get us to love ourselves on a deeper level. And a lot of times it can push us to grow, heal, evolve in ways that we wouldn't be able to if we hadn't met the person that we're dealing with. And this Sparks card to me makes it feel like there's a lot of intensity in this connection, maybe a lot of passion, a lot of excitement. And again, I feel like there are a lot of times when things are really good, but the roller coaster of this, I mean, any kind of roller coaster and any kind of connection like that is going to eventually take a toll on you, because that is something that isn't sustainable, because you're going to spend half, if not more, of your time wishing that things were better. And I've learned that healthy relationships aren't so high and low. They're very stable. They're very balanced. It's like, yeah, things are good, but they're good the majority of the time, and things dip every now and then. But it's not just like spike of adrenaline and dopamine and all those things that kind of happen, oxytocin, all those things that kind of come with inconsistent relationships. And that's what this feels like. It feels inconsistent. And I think that is where things get a little bit tricky, because then it's like, well, there's so much good and so much potential, and it's like, do I hope for that? Or, like, when will things ever be like that? And we kind of put ourselves through hell for the potential of connections that do feel really good, even though they also hurt us just as much. All right. Let's keep going. Interesting start here, Libra. But like I said, I do feel like this person does value what you bring to the table, but are they showing up to reflect that value? That's the question. Overall theme of this reading for Libra, please. Lessons are being taught. Could have guessed that one. Especially anytime we're being triggered, we're being asked to step outside of that trigger and look at the wounding that it's bringing to the surface. And then it says, ooh, you moved on and it was for the highest good. What is this trying to say? It is for the higher good. It's almost like there's a desire to get off this roller coaster for sure. And maybe I am speaking to a collective that is trying to move on or is trying to make healthier relationship choices. But I also feel like because of the intensity in this connection, that's been difficult. With it is for the higher good, though, I definitely feel like this connection has a deeper purpose in your life, which typically those mirrored connections do. Because again, they're forcing us to face ourselves in a lot of ways, which isn't always fun to do. And I think that, a lot of times we'll actually run from that, from not, facing ourselves. And we miss out on the lesson, ultimately. About 5 years ago now, which is crazy, because that number obviously gets higher because time continues to move on. But I was in a emotionally abusive relationship. I promise this has a point. And this person I could see through just the way that they acted, and I understood that they had this desire to be a good person, but they were so wounded and so struggled with that so much, but hadn't done any healing or growth, that the way that they handled situations was not good, right? Hurt people. It was the classic case of that. And I saw that, and I had a lot of empathy for this person and understood that although they were hurting me in a lot of ways, it was I could understand their behavior because I had been there too. I had been in a place in my life where I was deeply hurting, and I used that hurt to hurt other people without even realizing that I was doing it. And I held on in this connection for a really long time and allowed this person to treat me the way that they did. And once the connection ended, obviously didn't work out. I spent a lot of time being very, very angry at that person, rightfully so. They treated me pretty bad. But it was I couldn't heal. I could not let go of the pain that connection had caused me. And it wasn't until I started looking at what was being triggered in me that I actually started to heal. And I realized that this person brought out a side of me that I was super, super ashamed of. It was the side of me that was desperate to be loved, the part of me that didn't believe that I was worthy of being treated well, the part of me that was willing to put up with mistreatment because I thought that was as good as it was ever going to get for me in love. And there were a lot of different ways in which this presented itself, but until I started facing those parts of myself and started asking myself, where is this stemming from? Where do these, beliefs come from? I wasn't able to really heal and let go and move forward from that connection. Not that I wanted to go back into it, kind of couldn't move on, but like was just holding on to the pain that it caused. And so a lot of times what I'm getting at with this is a lot of times when people are put into our life and they do hurt us, and there are, you know, those lows and those heartbreaks that we experience in connections, the universe isn't trying to hurt us. It's not trying to put us through some horrible, awful test just for the hell of it. A lot of times the universe is really asking us to break open and love the parts of ourselves that we struggle to love and are looking for other people to love instead of loving them ourselves, so that we can open ourselves up to the love that we do truly deserve. So I don't know. I feel like there is, like I said, like a deeper purpose in this connection. And I'm not saying that it is exactly like what I just described, but when we start to look at like what this could be trying to teach us, we start to, like I said, heal, grow, evolve in ways that we wouldn't if the connection never presented itself in our life. But let's get more here. This is for Libra's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. The Lovers in reverse. It's obvious that you weren't getting what you, or aren't getting, depending on whether this is past or present, what you deserve out of this. And with the Lovers in reverse, I feel like for a while you kind of put up with that out of hopes that things changed. Knight of Wands, Magician in reverse. Interesting. Okay, anything else here? Page of Cups. And the Hangman in reverse. Okay. It's like against your better judgment. That's what I gather here, because I feel like you knew or no. I know, again, I don't know. I feel like for some of you, this could be a connection from the past. For some of you, this could be a connection you're currently in. Remember, time is a human construct. It's not necessarily linear, and we can be in different phases of this energy. But I do very much feel as if there's a part of you that was very aware of the fact that you weren't being treated like you deserve to be treated. But again, I feel like you had a lot of empathy and understanding for where this person was at, that you allowed it, but not in the sense that, like, I'm not sitting here saying like you deserve the way that you were treated, or you, like, it's your fault. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But I do feel like it's like you took it, you allowed it because you had so much care, compassion, or have so much care, compassion, understanding for this person. This Knight of Wands is, to me, this energy of really pouring yourself into this, pouring your mind, your body, your soul into this connection. And I think that it's almost as if it was, and not necessarily like saying that you made a bad decision in doing that, but it just feels like, because this Page of Cups is definitely this energy of divine guidance, emotional availability. It's like you wore your heart on your sleeve here, and I feel like things aren't or didn't ever evolve to where you were hoping that they would. And I think that is now has you questioning whether or not, if you pour your heart and soul into something and it doesn't get to where you want it to go, you're going to start going, well, maybe that means I'm never going to have the love that I deserve and desire if everything I have to give isn't enough. I feel like there, with the Hangman in reverse, there's still this energy of really holding on to the outcome of this connection, or holding on to the pain that this connection did cause. Now, that is completely natural and normal and understandable, but at the same time, I feel like the reason that this connection is still in your energy and is playing such a heavy role in your emotional life is because of the deeper purpose of it and what this is trying to and how this is trying to help you heal in some way. Because with this Optimism card, I feel like, again, you were really holding on to the good times, to when things felt good, to when things, were essentially a reflection of what you were hoping your love life would look like. But then again, that wasn't consistent. It was so up and down that I feel like you were like, well, it's worth it for those times when things feel good, even if things suck, and I keep getting my heart broken, or I keep feeling very alone, or whatever the case might be. And I think that that's where there's a need to kind of look at what this connection was really trying to bring to the surface for you, because it definitely had a purpose, and there were certain ways in which this connection triggered you, or pushed your buttons, or made you feel about yourself, that the universe is basically saying, this isn't, you might be looking for this person to love you well, but in what ways are you being asked to love yourself well? Like, I realized that that connection that I was in for a really long time, a lot longer than I should have been. It's almost as if this person validated the parts of me that felt unlovable. It's like they made me feel unlovable in the ways that I already believed I was unlovable. So I clung to the need for this person's love and validation, coming from this place of, if you don't love me and value me in the ways that you make me feel unlovable, then I'm never going to be loved fully and in the ways that I do deserve. And it was almost like I completely gave over my power to that person and was like, it's up to you. Like, if you don't love me, I'll never experience the love that I deserve. So I think that a lot of times we do give our power away. What am I doing? A lot of times we do give our power away without even realizing it. And I think that this is definitely this period of making sure you take your power back and you understand that you are the only person who gets to choose whether or not you are loved well. And what I mean by that is, if somebody else is not or doesn't love you in the way that you do truly deserve, instead of doing what you can to try and get that person to love you in the way that you deserve, look at how the universe might be asking you to love yourself in the way that you deserve. Is it asking you to set a boundary, to stand up for your worth and your value, to distance yourself from people who harm you? Because that can always create... that's how we take our power back, right? We focus on what is within our control. But let's see what this person has going on, this person's energy toward Libra. What does Libra need to know about it? Does Libra need to know about this person's energy toward them? I knew we were going to see it. There's mirroring right out of the gate. I mean, you both have the Knight of Wands here. Oh, no. This person's is in reverse, though. Queen of Wands. Could be dealing with a fire sign. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You don't have to be. I feel like this person just has a very... fiery personality. It's like they're very intense in a way. What else here? Man, this person really has been through a lot, or like hasn't ever healed from their past. Now, I will say we've all been through a lot in our life. We just have to make sure that we are choosing the route of healing instead of allowing our hurt to become the way that we treat others. Is there anything else here? The Two of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. This person definitely leans on the side of self-sabotage. And there are so many ways that we can self-sabotage, but especially in connections, what that can look like is craving love or craving, deep connection, yet at the same time pushing it away. And that's what's so interesting. Like, I see this Nine of Wands here, right? And it feels like this person is keeping out the love that they actually deeply desire. And a big part of that stems from the fact that I feel as if this person has a lot of hurt that they have not addressed. And therefore, they're afraid to let anybody into their space, into their heart, into their life, because they don't want to be hurt any more than they already are. But that's where the self-sabotage comes in, because it's like, well, then in order for them to be able to receive love and give it back in a healthy way, they're going to need to address this pain, whether that's in therapy or, whatever the case might look like, through self-healing, self-help. I just feel as if there is a lack of that, because with the Knight of Wands in reverse here, it just feels as if this person is really holding back a lot. There's this fear of vulnerability, this fear of opening up. And I feel like that's what creates the low lows in this connection, is when this person does withdraw, or when they do detached or ghost, or not want to have to face the uncomfortable feelings that I feel like this connection does very much bring up for them. I feel like they don't want to lose you, or they feel a loss because of your absence in their life. However, at the same time, there's no progress being made to make the changes necessary in order to be able to create a healthy connection with you. And I think that that's where things get difficult, is it's like, yes, you know, there is a lot of care and compassion, I feel like, coming from this person's energy towards you. They do value you, but they're not showing up for that value in the way that you do truly deserve. Now, with this codependency card, and I didn't mention this yet because I wanted to make sure I was very clear on where this person was at, but codependency is the tendency to take accountability or responsibility for somebody else's journey, for somebody else's healing, growth, evolvement journey in general. And the hardest part about loving people who aren't willing to grow is understanding that we have to love ourselves just as much to make sure that we are protecting ourselves from somebody who isn't willing to do the work. And it's not coming from this place of not loving them or not caring about them. It's coming from this place of knowing that you need to make sure that you are safe and protected, and that your energy isn't being used as a way to get this person through life, right? You want to make sure that you're not dealing with energy vampires or people who are using you as a source of love or as a source of energy or attention, but not returning that back to you because they don't have the capacity to do that. And I feel like that's where this person is at. I don't feel like this person is a bad person. I don't feel like they necessarily mean to hurt you or want to hurt you, but I feel like what you are looking for in this connection, this person is not at a place emotionally where they are capable of giving that to you. And I think that that's where things get hard, is because then you have to take an honest look at this and you have to ask yourself, is this enough for me? If this person never changed, if they never grew, if they never healed, if this person continued to show up exactly as they do right now, is that good for me? And really be honest with yourself about that, because a lot of times we want to go, yeah, absolutely, because we feel like we need to take what we can get. But if this person isn't loving you well, then there might be a part of you that needs to make sure that you are loving you well, right? Like we kind of talked about. Because again, with this Knight of Wands here, I do feel like you very much poured into this person or have been pouring into this person. Eventually, your cup is going to run dry. You're going to get to a point where you're like, I've got nothing left to give, because you're pouring into somebody who's not pouring back into you. Now, the similarities that I feel like are here is, I feel like, and I'm gonna bring this up, and then I feel like it's gonna take me a little bit to fully explain what I mean by this, so do bear with me. I feel like this person mirrors your shadow, meaning that the ways in which they display levels of feeling like unlovable or not good enough, I feel like really resonate with you. It's almost like you and this person have, I don't know if it's like a mirrored past or a mirrored source like wounding or what, but I do feel like that's why it's almost like you have so much empathy for where they're at, because there's a part of you that like recognizes that pain and wants to be the one that like loves them through it or helps them through it or whatever the case is. And that's the empath in you, that's the compassionate part of you coming out, right? But we also have to make sure that our empathy for people who are hurting doesn't become toxic empathy to the extent where we then are trying to save, fix, and heal them when they aren't doing the work themselves. And that is the number one way that we do set ourselves up for heartbreak, is when we try to change someone, whether that is for their good or not. So I think that this connection is asking you to look at, your role in what you're looking for from this person, and what they're not giving you, and what the universe is actually ultimately asking you to give to yourself, because I feel like that can help you really address those deeper wounds that I feel like this person is mirroring back. I do understand why you're in this predicament, if you will. I definitely can resonate with that experience. I also understand what it's like to love someone that struggles to love themselves well, and how hard that can be, because all we want to do is help them love themselves well. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? You cannot love someone into loving themselves. You cannot love someone into healing. You cannot love someone into change. You also can't guilt them, shame them, push them in any way into change or into loving themselves. That is something that the person that you're dealing with would have to come to the conclusion of doing on their own. And people don't change until the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change, because people don't like to change. It's scary. It's painful. It requires a lot of honesty about themselves, a lot of feeling, and anyone who is, committed to not feeling isn't going to want to move through making the best decision for them. So it doesn't have anything to do with your value, right? If they don't want to heal for them so that they can give and receive love in a healthy way, then it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It means that they're not capable of showing up for the love and care that they do have for you. But I do feel like that this connection has appeared into your life for a reason, to help you in some way. It's definitely a part of your soul's journey. I feel like that'll make sense as you continue to navigate it. But in between the connection you have triggered with sparks, we're going to look at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Libra, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Libra, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Libra.